Okay, everybody, this is SketchyBot 3000 coming to you live, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to update the video I did about the iPad and having 16 gigabytes of RAM. I'll have a link to that video below. I was really excited when they announced the M1 iPad because they announced that they were jumping. The iPad Pro had pretty much been stuck at 4 gigabytes of RAM ever since it was created. There were a couple of little exceptions, but with the announcement of the M1 iPad Pro, they jumped it from offering 4 and 6 gigabytes of RAM to 8 and 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I was so excited about what this meant for using it with Procreate and drawing, allowing for better performance with higher resolution images and more layers to play with, things like that. Now, to update you, since then, what's happened is Apple announced that they were really only going to allow developers to access 4 gigabytes of that, maybe 5, but it pretty much really making it so nothing changed except that with more RAM, there's better multitasking. Although honestly, I haven't had any multitasking issues with this first generation iPad Pro with the 4 gigs of RAM. Let me know in the comments below, have you all had problems with the multitasking performance? Is that increased RAM really going to help you out in your multitasking? I'd really like to know. And what are you doing that's pushing it that hard? I'd be very curious to see what's pushing the limits on that. But since then, Apple announced iPad OS 15, where they were going to open the rest of the RAM up to the developers. Then Procreate said, okay, great, we're going to utilize that in Procreate 5.2, and here are some of the numbers that they said. There was a blog post, and I'll leave that link in the details below. In their blog post, they were saying that with the 8 gigabytes of RAM, we've got a new maximum resolution of 16,000 by 8,000, a little bit higher than that, but rounding it, with 3 layers. And if you did 4,000 by 4,000, you jump from 46 to 58 layers, and 8,000 by 8,000, you jump from 8 to 11 layers. But if you got the 16 gigabytes of RAM, still the same maximum resolution of 16,000 by 8,000, but you go from 3 layers to 10 layers on the maximum resolution, although I don't understand why they didn't just offer a higher maximum resolution with 3 layers. And tell me below, I think their maximum resolution has always had 3 layers. Isn't that right? Let me know in the comments if you know differently. But at 4,000 by 4,000 pixels, you jump from 46 layers to 108 layers. And here's where I'm more interested. The 8,000 by 8,000, you go from 8 layers, which is usable but a little tight on really involved projects, to 24 layers, which I feel like really gives a lot more room to work. I'd love to see like 30 layers, but really I don't think I'd hit 20 layers, 24 layers. Anyway, so that's pretty exciting stuff. Now, since then, Procreate 5.2 has come out. As you can see, I've still got the first gen iPad Pro, so I haven't put it to the test, but other people have. Comicbooker on YouTube did a great video. You ought to check that out. His link will be in the description below here. And he is a comic book artist, and he talks about the limitations he ran into with Procreate before the M1 and how he had to use a lot of tricks and stuff to get what he needed out of it. But after the M1, he said he felt spoiled because he had so many layers to work with and didn't have any resolution issues. He also referenced Tony Jeffers on YouTube, which also did an interesting video. And what I found interesting about his video is that he took a 2018 iPad and an M1 iPad. I think that was 16 gigabytes of RAM on that. I'm not really sure. But he put them down next to each other, pulled up Procreate. On the 2018 iPad, he had Procreate 5.0, and on the M1, he had 5.2. And so he's just punching in different resolutions and seeing the layers that would pop out. So he was seeing, give or take, about 3 times the number of layers. It was a great result. Check out his video too. Great stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for you. So, the iPad finally has a lot of RAM and a lot of layers and resolution to work with. I know there's other apps that you can kind of get around that, but Procreate has been the most popular drawing app on the iPad as far as I know. Well, I'm curious, what drawing apps are you using? Are there other apps that you like better or you use as well? And has this changed those apps for you? Frankly, I've had a lot of history with Sketchbook Pro. I haven't used it in a while, but when I was drawing professionally, that's usually what I use because of the rulers and the guide tools that allowed me to do more precise drawings. And from what I remember, I know on Windows versions it didn't have any limitations, but you would run into, like, it would start to jam up because you were pushing the limits of it. And that's why I used Surface Products for a while, is because it would allow me to do that. Even though it would kind of jam up a little bit, at least I could get the layers and resolution that I wanted. But anyway, this kind of opens that up. I don't have to do that anymore. I could probably do that on the iPad now. But I'm very curious how this affects you all. Did you buy an M1 iPad for this? Are you thinking about it? Have you decided that this doesn't change anything for you? What does this mean to you all? Anyway, thanks for joining me. Again, I'm SketchyBot3000. If you want to support the channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe for the next video, and be sure to go to SketchyBot3000.com, jump to the shop, grab a little something, get a phone case, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, grab some stickers for the kids, whatever you want. But thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one.